Sitting right here in front of me is the brand new BigBoi Washr Pro 20. What does that 20 stand for? It stands for 20 amps. This thing comes with some pretty cool updated features, so I'm excited to share that with you, and a special promo code that they gave to me to give to you guys for an additional discount on this thing. Right off the bat, let's go ahead and talk about price. For this unit, again, unit only, it does ship with a foam cannon. I don't know what I did with it, but it's a good quality foam cannon. It'll get the job done very, very well, suited for this machine. And the price for this whole unit, again, unit only plus the foam cannon, is $799. There's not a lot of industrial grade, full-blown professional units like this. Induction motor, big, heavy triplex pump in that price range anymore. In the past, there was the AR630, right? And that one, I can't remember how much that went for, but it was closer to that price range. Since then though, they updated it, they made some new changes to that one, and now that price has gone up. I think it's around 900 bucks. So at $799, and then again with the discount code, which I'll let you know right now, just use code I'mJoshV. It's gonna get you 10% off of this. So that brings it down to what, 730 bucks, plus free shipping. So if you're in the States, free shipping for you guys. So I know in the past it was like, oh, yeah, it's a better price, but you have to factor in the shipping and then it gets closer. Well, they're offering free shipping if you use code I'mJoshV. So check that out. All right, guys, so I just want to interrupt the video really quickly to let you all know that I've been doing some due diligence on this machine. I actually have it installed right here in my mobile detail truck. I've been using it for the past week daily, and just want to let you guys know it's been performing flawlessly. Really, really nice performance. All right, now with that said, let's get back to the video. Some of the main updates to this thing are as follows. So in the past, the unloader valve, obviously you can manipulate this a little bit. I always recommend just leaving them alone. I did just do a full review of the new AR machine, and I did manipulate that a little bit. However, if you see right here, they actually tag it to not move it. And just being curious, I was like, can I move it? And they do peg it into place. So don't just leave that alone. That's set to where it's supposed to be. Additionally, you do have a nice stainless steel quick connect right on the front here for your hose connection. And then also they give you a brass quick connect for your garden hose connection for the water inlet. Now, I didn't have a quick connect on my garden hose, at least here at the shop, but you can just go ahead and back this out. There we go, I got it loosened up. And then you have your standard garden hose connection with a steel mesh little filter on it. Now, another cool feature about this machine that I really appreciate that they did, obviously you have your big oil reservoir indicator there to let you know how that's looking. But they come with nozzles right on here. These are all stamped 3.7 size orifice nozzles. So very, very cool. That's gonna get you a certain amount of performance, right? But they also send you a secondary entire set of nozzles. Here's the 40-degree one of 4.2 nozzles. So that's obviously gonna increase your GPM a little bit, drop your PSI a little bit, but depending on what you want out of your pressure washer, it's really cool that they just include both of those right off the bat. Now, another update that they did, let me go ahead and get closer to you guys, is they actually shortened the length of the power cable. I think it's right about 15 feet. I measured it just roughly, but it was about 15 feet. And they also increased the gauge size, so it's a thicker cord, able to transfer all that power through to the machine. We do have our ground fault interrupt plug on it, and even though this is a 20 amp machine, it does have the standard NEMA 15 style plug. So this will go into any outlet. Now, with that said, I really, really like that because, again, for my testing purposes, I need this type of receptacle for testing. Keep that in mind though, if you're running on a 15 amp, this will go into it. You're gonna pop your breaker because this is gonna be running over 15 amps. It's a 20 amp rated machine, so please keep that in mind. Now, one more thing to keep in mind is hose, right? Obviously this is unit only, so it shipped without a hose. They offer hoses through BigBoi, you know, regular style and then also the steel braided style. However, for this unit, it is definitely recommended to run a steel braided hose. If you run a fiber reinforced hose like my QUIVR Flex hose, under initial load, basically the whole idea of this thing is that there is, I don't know if this is exactly what it is, but in my mind, I'm picturing a spring. And that spring has a certain amount of tension to engage it to start the total stop system, to make the machine go quiet. With that, with the steel braided hose, it creates the perfect amount of pressure to compress that and actually get it to function the total stop. When you use a fiber reinforced one like the QUIVR Flex, like an Uber Flex, like a Flexzilla. The force needed to change that tension in the spring to be able to fire the total stop isn't quite there. It's an interesting thing. You can pull the trigger and then get it to engage, but otherwise you'll kind of hear it running constantly, and basically water's still floating through that system. The bad part about that is if water is floating through the system, it's not escaping, it's just running through the pump, right? If it does that, it's going to heat up significantly, and then you could run into issues with, you know, seals wearing down faster and all that kind of stuff. It's not what you want to deal with, so just follow their recommendations, just like the actives. Stick with the steel braided hose. All right, let's go up front and test. All right, guys, so if you can see down here, it's quite a bit of a mess. I'm actually redoing my truck currently and resetting this up so that I get a little more functionality out of it. With that said, you may see a generator right here. This is the Furman 30, let's see, what is this thing? It is a 3200 continuous rated generator. And that brings me to one of the biggest updates and the thing that I'm most excited about as a mobile detailer. The new Washr Pro 20, the 20 amp version, fires on a generator. The other one didn't. I've had issues with other pressure washers as well. The Active 2.3, I've had some issues firing on a generator. This new one fires on the generator without issue. However, I do want to test one more thing. I don't know if you can see in there. I am installing an UPEZ battery or power station. Very, very excited to run that thing. I'll be doing a video on that upcoming as well, but I'm very excited for it. It's huge capacity out of this thing, but I want to test and make sure that it fires on there as well. So we're going to do that, and then once we confirm that, if it fires, we'll switch over to just the normal outlet and do the normal testing. All right, guys, here is, you can see this thing's huge. The UPEZ power station. Full backup generator, just electric, you know, no gas required. So let's go ahead and start this process. I have the unit running, water's running to it. Actually, it's plugged in, water's not going to it yet. Okay, now it is. So as always, I'm gonna go ahead and pull the trigger, let the air purge out of the system. That's always important, regardless of what pressure washer you're using. If you're just setting it up, always let the water purge out. Now, if your hose is continually connected, you don't have to do this every time, but if you do disconnect your hose, you just want to make sure you get all the air out of the line. All right, moment of truth for the UPEZ to see if this thing will fire with it. I'm really hoping. All righty, so here we go, guys. We're gonna go ahead and power it on. Make sure, this is new to me, this unit, so I'm trying to figure this out. All right, looks like we're powered on. We're at 100%. We will have to hit AC so that this engages. Looks like we're good. We're gonna go and plug it in. Oh, fires. There's a slight delay. I don't know if that's, I don't know why, but fantastic, guys. Incredible. I'm happy. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and fire this thing off. I'm gonna set this up in my truck and everything, but until then, I'm gonna leave it off. We're gonna test this out of the wall and do our thing. So we're gonna go ahead and start testing now. Again, because I have this style plug, I can actually test the amp readings with this as well. So what we're gonna do is we're going to test first with the 3.7 nozzles that are installed on the back of the machine. Then we'll switch over and test a 4.2 that it also comes with. Now the unit is still on. Oh, one thing I didn't talk about is, as you can see on the oil fill back here on the machine, it's black now. When it ships to you, it ships to the little red cap. That's just for transit. Take that one out and replace it with the one that they give you. There you go. And guys, you can hear, again, another very, very, very quiet machine. Incredibly quiet. Okay, let's start testing these numbers to see where we are at. So again, guys, the whole setup that we're using to test this thing is the BigBoi steel braided hose. I had this when I initially tested their other units, and that is their whole hose reel mount system. I've been trying to debate, should I put this in my truck? Since I'm redoing my truck, should I put this in there, or should I put it back up on that shelf because it mounts in perfectly? So I'm debating. But again, steel braided hose from BigBoi. I am using the QUIVR short gun. Again, this has the stainless steel construction, nickel plated everywhere else, so tons of corrosion resistance, and features the spring loaded quick connect, so you don't have to pull the collar back. You just put it in and push. You hear it click and you're good to go. Now, as I said, this is with the 3.7 nozzle that it ships with. So here's the amps. It's going to be a multiple of 10, so we have to divide by 10 to get the actual amps. So essentially 17.5. Let's look at the PSI. (1160 PSI. Fantastic numbers. All right, now let's go ahead and test the GPM. Same test as always, running it into a bucket for 1 minute, and then I'll weigh it out and let you guys know exactly where it comes. And another thing I want to note for you guys really quickly as we're about to do this, the machine's cold. That just fired on. As these machines warm up, the oil starts moving through the system and everything better. They get a little more efficient as well, so keep that in mind. But already we're getting 1160 at 17.5 amps. Let me go ahead and do my GPM test now, and here we go. All right, there's 1 minute. So let me go ahead and weigh this out, and I'll let you guys know where we are. All right, guys, so accounting for the water weight, subtracting the weight of the bucket, we came to 269.2. That was the pure weight of the water. We divided that by 133.4, which is the weight of a gallon of water. 2.0179, so 2.01, I mean, if you round up, it's 2.02 gallons per minute, right about there, okay? Now what I'm gonna go ahead and do is switch over to the 4.2 nozzle. Again, that should drop our PSI, increase our GPM. It should also drop our amp reading, so we'll see what that does. All right, guys, 3.7 is out, 4.2, let me just double check. Yep, 4.2 going in. Again, we're gonna test the amps first, and I'll film that, and then I'll test the PSI at the same time. Alrighty, 4.2 nozzle. Here are the amps. There you go, so essentially 15.8 amps. Round that up, you know, 15.8. I'm gonna go ahead and look at the PSI numbers. Perfect, you see. 983, 982. We'll call it 983 PSI. So as to be expected, we dropped a good amount of PSI. 980 still totally usable. Let's go ahead and find out what the GPM is now. I'm coming into finding out that I like right about 1,000 PSI is kind of like what's fitting my needs the most. So let's go ahead and get my timer. All right, and here we go. All right, guys, so we definitely got an increase in water for sure, because I'm about to overflow, but we saved it. So I'm gonna go ahead and weigh this, and I'll be right back. So true weight of the water was 277.5 ounces divided by the 133.4, 2.08 gallons per minute, so just shy of 2.1 at 983 PSI. It's fantastic numbers, guys. I'm a little bit, so I think we all continually wanna push the number of gallons per minute, like up to the threes and things like that. However, I will state when we do that, it's not needed. I would rather have the balance. I think 2 gallons per minute is perfect, especially when we're talking about for the home users that are using the DI systems. Those things are typically rated about 2 to 2.5 gallons per minute. You don't want to go over that, otherwise you're not going to it's not going to have time to completely filter all the water, and you could still get water spots. So I think 2 gallons per minute and right in that range, slightly above 2.2, 2.3, like the new AR with a 5.5 nozzle, I was able to get 2.3 gallons per minute. That's great, that's fine. I think when we start getting above that, my opinion may change, but it does seem to be getting a little bit into a zone where it's not necessary and you kind of point of diminishing return. All right, now the machine does not ship with this, but because I have one here, let's go ahead and throw on a 4.5. I basically really just want to see if I can get it under 15 amps and see where the performance lies in this still. All right, guys, 4.5, here we go. $14 amps, 14 amps. Now PSI with that nozzle, let's see here. $818, dropped a little bit, $818. So we are now at 818 PSI. Let's do a final GPM test with that. All right, and once again, guys, we did increase the GPM, 2.12 gallons per minute. So we're properly above the 2.1 gallons per minute now. With that said, do I agree with them on which nozzles they included? The 3.7 and the 4.2, yeah, I do. My favorite's gonna be the 4.2. Again, right around that 1,000 PSI, 2.08, I think, GPM. That would be my favorite. But if you need a little more PSI, and again, you're on a 20 amp breaker anyway, you can run that other one and you're good to go. Again, bumping up that PSI. If you're on a 15 amp breaker, could you potentially run this? Yes, you potentially could. With that 4.5 nozzle, you're gonna be right around 800 and, I don't remember off the top of my head, in the 800s, pushing out 2.1 gallons per minute, still completely usable, really, really good numbers. The machine's very quiet. One thing to note, if you are trying to run this on a 15 amp breaker, okay, very, very clear on this, is these things are typically rated at 120 volts. This outlet that I have here puts out 119.9 volts. There are other situations throughout the US, the power grid's a little bit of a weird thing, I guess, and depending on where it is from your breaker and all that, you can be all the way down to 110. If you're running it on a 110, that's gonna put the amps, I think, the amps are still gonna be above because it's a ratio, I think. So just keep that in mind. Yes, you potentially can run it on a 15 amp breaker with the 4.5 nozzle, but you wanna make sure that you're getting the proper voltage out of your wall. So make sure of that.
All right, guys, so it's actually the next day. I have the BigBoi Washr Pro 20 installed in my truck now. Again, running it off this UPEZ, which is incredible. We're gonna go ahead and do the foam cannon test now. I've got my QUIVR foam cannon. I got 1 ounce of Rogue soap in it, and this is running the 1.25 orifice, the foaming ability. And as I knew, we can widen this up as well. Yeah, running no problem, getting super thick, nice, even, consistent foam. So, foam cannon test is a pass.
Now real quick too, foam cannon test. If you're using something like my QUIVR foam cannon, it's gonna be incredible. Now this machine ships, like I said, we're running a 3.7 nozzle, and even a 3.5 would probably still be under that 20. The 1.25 orifice that the foam cannon comes with is equivalent, a 1.22 millimeter is equivalent to a 3.5. So we're running at a 1.25, so that's gonna be pretty close to a 3.7, so you're good to go running that on this machine. However, again, like I said, they do include the free foam cannon with this kit, so you can just use it straight out that way. Now that's actually one of the biggest issues I'm having with my pressure washer that I'm developing, because I'm keeping it at 15 amps, and I have so much flow going through this machine that in order to keep it under 15 amps, we have to open the orifice size in the foam cannon quite a bit. We lose friction, we lose some air creation, so we lose some foam production a bit. It's a very simple fix. You can just literally just either add a little bit more soap or reduce your water a little bit so that the dilution ratio is increased or decreased, so you get more soap in the tank, and then there's no issue. That's just one of the caveats to trying to keep that much performance and that much flow under 15 amps. Again, with theirs, since it's rated for 20, you can go with a little bit smaller orifice. You're getting crazy foam with a limited amount of product. All right, guys, so that is it for today's video. I hope that video helps you. The new BigBoi 20 amp version, I think it was a good call. Again, thickening up this power cord, letting all the power get to the machine, running it shorter. You're not losing anything over the distance. So far, it's incredible. So far, really, really good. Again, at the price point, especially if you use code I'mJoshV, 10% off, $7.99. So I made a mistake before. I said $7.30. Brings down to like $7.20 plus free shipping. So really, really good value if you're in the market for something like this. That's it for today's video though, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to like the video, make sure you're subscribed, turn on that notification bell, and we will see you on the next one.